Hello, everyone. Welcome, Ocean. I almost fell off my chair. Yeah, welcome back. And yeah, today I wanted to touch upon something that I've been really facing, and that is kind of getting over my fear of rejection. Now, since I being an artist and me being a music composer, I come from a kind of background in which perfection is preferred, in which perfection is pursued, in which being able to express the deepest emotion in you in the most authentic way so that it reaches the listener or the audience in the most penetrative and most personal way possible. This pretty much has been my pursuit throughout my development years as a musician and as an artist. And as you could tell, if you are so anal or fixated about perfection, about getting it to say exactly what it has to say. But mind you, in arts or in music, this is an excellent skill to have. It's something that you should pursue, or it's a good thing to pursue. But as I am entering in to a phase where I realize that in order for me to achieve the musical vision that I have of being able to release multiple projects and multiple genres which I've been writing over a long period of time, I realized that I cannot execute all this as a solopreneur, or if you would call it as somebody who's a what you call as a one-man band, or an entrepreneur who works by him or herself. And while this is possible for like small scale projects, the the kind of projects which I'm currently working on, and these are really long-term projects, uh, it it would not really be possible for one person to do all of it. And I realized that setting up a business structure which works in a way that all of these different projects, like for example, my dark techno set, that's going in a very different direction as compared to my ambient live set, which is music for sleep, where I put the audience to sleep. They come, they have beds in which they sleep, and they listen to a 6 hour concert and they sleep through it. Now, obviously, this is very different from the dark techno set, as opposed to the jazz record I'm working on, where I'm composing and being the band leader for a 4 piece jazz band. So, and there's other songwriting projects going on as well, other than the ghostwriting music, which I do anyways. So, with all of these coming in and some orchestral works which I had previously done, which I would eventually like to develop into a project, I realized all these cannot be done in a solo fashion. The reason is that burned out is what I'm going to be at the end of each of these. And yeah, it takes roughly around 6 months to finish any one of these in complete detail and release it. And by the end of it, you're just totally spent. You don't want to, you don't have the creative juices to go ahead and do one more for at least a month or two. And you do this 5 or 6 times, and you really need a big break after that. So I see burnout as a serious potential, and I kind of feel it every day. So I kind of structure things into a business format. Long story short is that structuring it into a business format and entering the high ticket sales industry, which is kind of supporting my music. If and yeah, those of you who've been following me know that I work with Enagic as well, which helps support my musical dreams and lets me be aligned with the music that I want to do without having to think about financial crunches. So with these things coming in and mixing together and forming new horizons, I am beginning to, how would you put it, get into setting my music up as a business rather than as a solo entrepreneurial venture. So in the act of doing so, I am reaching out to countless people each day. It's I have set myself a bar of reaching at least 50 new people each day in order for collaborations, in order for for the high ticket online business that I'm associating my music with. So that works on the back line, as in whoever comes in interested in my music discovers the high ticket sales thing which I do, and a lot of people end up joining with what I partake in right now. So with that going on, I am faced with something which is one of my deepest fears, I guess. I didn't realize it. It's, I wouldn't say one of my deepest fears potentially, because it does not have that amount of depth of harm which it could cause me. But why I say deepest fears is because it is more of a professional hazard. Now, what is a professional hazard? A professional hazard is something which happens as a symptom of the kind of profession you're into. Like, I mean, if you work out in the sun, or you're doing something out in the sun the whole day, sunburn is a potential hazard, right? In the same way, the kind of attitude that I've developed towards expressing my emotions in the purest way in music and making people feel that reach to their souls with it has put me into a perfectionist regime or a regimen, which means that when I look towards setting up a business, or when I look towards working on this high ticket sales business, I I see a kind of a barrier. I see a kind of a barrier in that I want to make everything perfect. While that works perfectly in the music category or in the arts category or in a specialist category, it's basically a specialist category. It could even be, like somebody like a brain surgeon, or like a, a, a doctor, or anybody who's a specialist, like a heart surgeon, where your specialization in your field becomes extremely important, and that is what people come to you for. They come to you for the fact that you are a specialist in it. That means you are a perfectionist at it and you hate making mistakes. They come to you because you have that personality type. They come to you specially for that, so that you are the best person for the job that they are risking their lives with. While music is not as risky as that, but it still fits under that category, in my opinion. So as I'm shifting, what would you call as quadrants, and entering into integrating a business into my music, integrating a business attitude towards my music rather than a solopreneur, the first thing I'm realizing is, the number of people I'm reaching out, as I said. And the first thing which comes with that is you're just marred with the fear of rejection, because you're kind of reaching out to 50, 100 people a day. It's obvious that not everybody's going to reach back, and it's obvious that you're not going to get positive results out of everything. But then the sickening feeling you get from that is what I feel stops a lot of people from continuing to pursue it, because I can imagine how I do not want to use the word ego crushing, but I can imagine how demotivating it can feel. That's something that you'd conjure upon as a dream inside of you. Uh, with obviously a successful vision inside of you for that dream, when it comes out in the open and when you're kind of presenting it to people, it gets rejected or neglected or not given the kind of positive treatment that you need from everyone. And for a lot of people, this is quite soul crushing and it stops them in their steps. Now, this is why I specifically made this video, because I found myself going through this in the last couple of seasons, and I told myself that I'm going to put a stop to it and get over it because I want to get past this. That's what I kind of did this week, is that I told myself I'm going to go ahead, make at least 50 to 100 friends a day, new friends, connect with people, social media, however I do, and speak with them about what I do and see how they whether they're interested or not, and at what point do they ghost or leave out, and what are the number of people who actually get through. And as I start to do that, I realize that if you are to do this with an attitude of being successful at it, unfortunately, the process is so strained that it might not exactly work out in your favor. I found a negative approach to be highly useful in such a situation. It is quite unlike me to choose a negative approach in a situation like this, but I think it works perfectly fine. It has worked perfectly fine till now for me. So, what I kind of did was I told myself I am going to reach out to the lights just came back. Okay, yeah. I told myself I'm going to reach out to 50 to 100 people, new people each day, strangers, absolute strangers, okay, absolute strangers from across the world, and reach out 50 to 100 of them each day and basically tell myself that I am looking forward to being rejected by 50 to 100 absolute strangers each day. And when I look forward to rejection, I do not see it as a surprise. I do not see it as something something that's really touching anything. Because see, the thing is, this is multi-layered. It is not like polarity driven in terms of it's not negative versus positive. It's not a negative approach per se, because internally I want it to succeed. I know it. You need to tell yourself that. You need to be aware of yourself, aware of that, and not like kid yourself on that. Internally, you know that you want to be successful at it. Otherwise, why the heck would you do it? So internally, you know it. You need to be very clear about that. That this is a multi-layered structure. Internally, you're telling yourself, "I'm putting this out into the universe, knowing that I'm going to be successful at it." But the approach I'm going to take is going to be negatively driven so that it doesn't stop my momentum or spoil my uh, urge to go ahead and do it. So I look at it as I am reaching out to 50 to 100 new people to get rejected each day. Because guess what's happening by doing that is that every time 100 people do not so-called look at what you do or uh, respond positively. That's the best way to put it. If when so-called 100 people do not positively respond to what you do, you are in a way clearing out in the universe all the people who, at this moment, at this current moment, not in your orbit or not in your circle to go ahead. That's all you're doing. So when you're clearing out the so-called 100 people who are out here to reject you or so-called not partake with you on the journey that you're going on, what happens is the handful all across the world, the handful ones that really need what you have to offer, that really want to do what you are doing, that really want to associate with you, the path gets cleared for them to reach you in the space of consciousness, because you cleared out all the so-called 100 ones who are not in your path, who are not aligned with you, or whose life paths are different. So generally what happens is, when we do not go ahead and do this at all, when we do not go ahead and take this step, that is to go and reach out to absolute strangers, because of the fear of rejection, what happens is the so-called handful of people who are like tailor-made to work with you, who are like perfect companions for your project, for your dream project, for your whatever service that you're offering, who are the perfect avatars for what you're looking at. They stay wherever they are in the universe, on our planet, and the hurdles or the things which are stopping them from connecting with you exist, and they continue to exist, and that continues to nurture the feeling that you cannot find the right people for your project, or you are not getting the ones who completely get you. You're getting people who do not get you. You end up in this kind of space, which is not a healthy space. So if you're kind of finding yourself in that space, or if you're finding yourself in a space where you're not able to take the first step because you're scared of being rejected, or you're scared of just reaching out to anybody and just blurting out what you have to offer, and you're afraid of that, mind you that you are not going there and asking them to with a positive attitude. You're going there and asking them with a kind of a negative attitude internally, that you're out here to just clear the negatives out. You're out here to just clear the ones who are not in your path. You're here in this journey to get the no's as quick as you can, so that the ones who are going to say yes in the blink of an eye are right in front of you. And when they're right in front of you, it's almost funny how you missed it. That's what I had the experience today as well. It was almost funny how I missed it, because I reached so many different strangers, and I just found a handful of people who are totally in, or just totally willing to work with me, or just totally in and want to collaborate with the high ticket sales offer that I do. And that's just that. Like, I had no effort to put in at all. Like, once I cleared out the negatives, the positive was just right there in front of me. So I wanted to share that today, because I felt it might be useful for a lot of people who are not able to get over their fear of rejection, or are unable to take the first step towards what technically is called as cold calling. This is cold calling, but it's done in a very conscious way. That it's a multi-layered system. I'm just repeating what I just spoke all this while. Multi-layered system. Internally, you know that you want success. You do not lie to yourself. Internally, you know you want success. Second layer, you deserve it. You deserve the right people to achieve that success. Third layer, you go out and seek for all the people who are going to reject you or say no. Why? Because they are the ones who are coming in your way from you meeting the perfect people who would say yes in a blink of an eye to work with you. So you go and just clear off all of that, and you realize that your lawn was always very well mowed. You just have to remove all the leaves from the lawn, and you realize that the lawn was always perfect. And that is what this approach is about. And you could pretty much duplicate this in any other problem that you're probably going through in life. So that was my 2 cents for the day. And if you would like to see my musical works, you can head over to my website. Everything is down below, and you can check out my music there. You can check out my other podcasts, and you can check out this so-called high ticket sales business that I keep speaking about, which is helping me dearly. support my music as I stay completely tuned to only doing the music that I align with. So that's it for today. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.